Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel and welcome to September 2023 with the Scrappy sisters and Laura Alberts. I'm combining that today with Mixed Media Mayhem, where our recipe is tissue paper, bling, and paint. And the prompt for Scraptember today is family. So Scraptember will be going on all month long in September. I will be playing along a few times a week. I am going to cut back just a little bit this month. We have a new class starting up over on at Some Assemblage Required. It is a blank to bold mixed media class, number 2 that MK and I are running, and that class starts on the 8th. And so I am going to take a little bit of a step back from YouTube, and instead of doing every day, I'm just going to probably be here maybe 3 or maybe 4 times a week. So hopefully you still come and join me, because we're going to have a lot of fun, and I will be playing along with the Scraptember prompts when I do my videos. So today's mixed media started out with me taping down my piece of paper, which is just a piece of basil cardstock, and I am putting a coating of clear gesso on it. And the reason I'm using clear is because I have this black and white tissue paper that I want to adhere down, but I know I want my paint to run when I do apply the paint, so that's why I put the gesso down. I don't want it to just soak into the paper, I want it to run. And I taped it down because I wanted it to dry really flat. Sometimes when I do the whole page, it'll curl, and so I definitely wanted to make sure it was going to lay flat. And I probably would have done even more, kept it on that board longer, except for that I wanted this to go all the way to the edges and the blue tape was in the way. So this is just a plain old piece of tissue paper, came out of some kind of packaging from probably a Scrappy store or a gift. I just save the packaging and use it again. It's not something that I go out and purchase just for this project. I do have some collage paper and stuff like that that I was either gifted or purchased, but this is just plain old tissue paper. And I am putting more gesso over the top and using gesso to adhere it down to the page. And then I'm using this blue piece of tissue paper and crinkling it up and attaching it right at the seam there. And I'm liking how that's looking so far. I'm not exactly sure how this is going to turn out, but I'm going to give it a try and see what happens. And there are a few places in the process where I'm not super happy with it, and you'll see me go through and clean it up and kind of, I won't say start the whole thing over, but rework it. So now that I've got my gesso down and my tissue paper adhered, I am using some Dilutions paint in white linen and London blue, and I am mixing it up because I want it to be a lot lighter. I want it to be a lot closer to the color of the tissue paper than the blue that is in that jar. Now, if you are somebody who likes paints, the Dilutions paint doesn't come like this anymore. It comes in a squeezy bottle rather than in a tub. I really like the tubs because I can stick my credit card or gift card in there and pick up a little and scrape it right down my page. I don't have to squeeze the bottle or anything, but it does, I don't know if it dries out faster or what, but they just don't have it like this anymore. So it's a little bit sad for me, but it'll work just as well in a squeezy tube. And I don't mean like a tube, like a paint tube. I mean like a watercolor paint tube. I mean like in an acrylic paint bottle. So a bottle is probably a better explanation. So I waited for the paint to dry, and now that the paint is on, it is going to be permanent because it's paint. And now I'm adding some watercolor, which is water reactive. And so this is just some paint out of this pack of Gonzai Tombi watercolors. I'm not sure. I'm probably not saying that right. Those are available over on Amazon. They may have them at a cherry on top or scrapbook.com. I'm not really 100% sure right at this moment, but I will put links down below to the products that I use if they are available, so that you can go and find those if that's something that you might want to pick up. So I'm kind of playing with this paint. I'm not really sure if I'm liking it a whole lot or not. It looks a little bit forced to me because the drips are like almost too perfect. Hopefully that makes sense. So while it sits there and dries, I am backing my photo with several layers of blue and then black and white papers. So blue and white and then black and white. And I've got several layers on here. I'm even using that packaging from Scrap and Happy Studio that has the big thick black and white stripes on it. And I'm going to tuck that under as well and use a little bit of that on each side. So I really like the way that that looks. And it really does work because those stripes are so much bolder than the stripes of the tissue paper. If they weren't so bold, I think it would probably compete with it. So trying to think of the right word there. Yeah, it would compete. So I don't know what I was counting off of my fingers there, but anyway, I am playing around with the mixed media some more. Like I said, I wasn't super happy with it, so I'm going to darken it up a bit by just using less water and more of the pigment from the blue pan that I am working out of, and see what I can do to make it a little bit better. And this is the point where I thought, you know what, I don't like it, so I'm just going to wipe it all off. That is the beauty of gesso. Now the painted portion won't come off because the paint is permanent, but the water-based watercolor can easily be picked up because the gesso is creating that barrier between the paper and the watercolor. So then I decided just to go ahead and spray where I put that blue all over the tissue paper, and I like how that looks a lot better, you guys. I know it's really weird, but it dries so much nicer than how it was, and so hopefully you guys like the end result as well. While I work on drying that, I don't think I did a great job of explaining what Scraptember is. The Scrappy sisters and Laura Alberts have put together this project, and each day in September there is a different prompt. Today's prompt is family, so I am doing a page about family. And usually it's not a subject related prompt, it will be a technique related most of the time, sometimes a sketch. And so anyway, today is family, and that's what I'm doing. And then for Mixed Media Mayhem, we do have a Facebook group. You can go and join that, and you can see the inspiration for each Friday in the month, and you can play along all month long now. It used to be you could only play on the last Friday of the month. That was the only inspiration that was shared, and there was a much smaller group of us that were doing the other Fridays, but now we've opened it up to everyone to play along, so go and check that out as well. Mixed Media Mayhem scrapbooking, and you can play along also. Okay, so there we go. Now I've added a whole bunch of that in splatter as well, and then I added some splatter in silver. Well, actually I think it's not called silver. It's called Sterling, and it's the Media Gloss Spray from Dina Wakley. And now I am adding some Stickles glitter gel in Asteroid, which also happens to be silver. And so I'm pulling in, just playing off of the silver colors, and I really like the way that that's looking. The photo is of my husband and myself with my brother and my sister-in-law. They are on the left-hand side of the photo, and my cousin and her husband on the right hand side of the photo, and that was during our visit to Idaho in the beginning or the end of July. So I am documenting that. I hadn't seen my cousin and her husband in several years, and so it was really nice to have dinner with them. My brother barbecued for us, and my cousin, she brought a cake, and it was just really good. We had a really nice time together, and it was nice to be able to visit not just my brother and my sister-in-law, which I hadn't actually seen my sister-in-law in quite a while either. My brother has been back and forth to visit with my parents, but my sister-in-law has not been able to. And so anyway, it was nice to see everyone and be able to spend that time together. Okay, so I pulled out my box of blue ephemera. This is all miscellaneous ephemera. When I get towards the end of a package or sticker sheet or something, I will cut it apart if it's a sticker sheet or sort the ephemera into my color bins. And then I did also pull out some stuff from a Pink Fresh Studio pack. My title is going to be Thankful for Family. I am going to use those little gray stickers. Those are old. They're from my mind's eye, and to make the word for. I'm going to make the word family out of the thickers that are silver over on the left hand side there. And then I have this acrylic piece that says thankful, and I don't remember where I got it, but I've had it for quite a while. Going to go ahead and try and use that as well. And then I am popping my photo up onto some foam. Had I been thinking, I probably should have marked off where all of that, where my photo was going, and then I wouldn't have used stickles underneath all that area. It would have made my photo lay a little flatter and would have been a little less wasteful of my stickles, but I didn't think about that, so I'm just going with it. And it ended up working out anyway because that Viewmaster is chipboard, and so now that my photo's up onto some foam, that Viewmaster fits under there, and that's been in my stash for ages in my black bin. I have a bin that has like black ephemera, and then the labels that you see there that are black and white are also out of that bin. So that makes it really easy for me to find some random things and put them on my layout. Not that they are random and not associated with the layout, but they are just random items that didn't really have a place in my stash otherwise. These leaves are from a watercolor collection that is a printable that I printed and didn't use for a different layout a couple years ago. They've been in the blue bin, and so I'm using that. And then this little piece at the top here says, "Family time is the best time." I also found in the Pink Fresh stuff a little chipboard house and a little chipboard blue D that says documented, and a tab that says Saturday because that is the day that we all got together. I'm going to put the date handwritten right below the tab that's where it says Saturday, so I know exactly what the date is. And then I will do a little tiny bit of journaling on those two labels. Now I know they're small, and that's okay with me. I don't need to write a ton of journaling. I'm just writing who was there and that we had dinner and that what they made. And I can write really small if I try, you guys. I don't always write super small, but I figured I'll write small and fit what I can on to these labels. You'll see that in the close-ups. I don't normally photograph my layouts after the writing is done, but I thought I'd go ahead and do that this time around for whatever reason, and so you'll be able to see that. I do think the journaling is just as important as the rest of the layout, and a lot of times there is a little bit more of a story that is going on in the background that maybe I haven't said on the video or explained. But in this case, the story was just that we got together and it was great seeing them. My brother moved to Idaho about, I don't know, a year and a half, 2 years ago. And he has really lived within 10 miles of me for my entire life. And actually the last, I don't know, 10 or 13 years, he's lived around the corner from me. So that's quite a bit different for them. And my cousins have been up there for quite a while. And it just happened that my niece and her husband bought a house up in Idaho, not too far from my cousin. And so then when my brother bought, he bought up that pretty close to them as well. And then I actually have two other cousins that live up there, and my aunt and uncle. So unfortunately, my aunt and uncle were out of town when we were there, and we didn't get to see them. And then my other cousins, they live a few hours away from, at least an hour to 3 hours away, depending on which cousin, from my brother. So we didn't see them either, but we plan to do a couple more trips up there and spend a little more time and be able to visit with family a little bit more in the future. So that'll be nice. These little black and white striped buttons, those are from not just for boys. They've been in my stash for a while, so they're pretty old. I don't know that they're even available anymore, but I thought I would add them because they were like the perfect little addition to this layout. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. Don't forget to check out the Facebook group for Mixed Media Mayhem, and I have my own Facebook group in case you didn't know that. It's Galaxy Girl Creations. You can go and join that as well and get more information. If you stick around to the end here, I'm going to add a little blurb for Blank to Bold 2 in case you're interested in that mixed media class. If you just stick around after these stills, it will play and you'll get to see that as well. Thanks again for watching. I hope that you have a wonderful day, and I will see you guys again soon. Hey you guys, this is Janet, and I'm just sharing with you a quick little informational about a new class that MK and I have coming up. It's an all new mixed media class called Blank to Bold 2. We ran this last year. We've got a little bit of a new format. We're going to feature 24 brand new layouts. We will have Zoom sessions that are live and they will be recorded in case you missed those dates. We will have printable recipes, which make it really easy to follow along, as well as some sketches that are mixed media specific and exclusive to this class. First Zoom session is Friday, September 8th in the late afternoon Pacific time, and then we will be having the rest of our classes on Sunday afternoons, 2:30 p.m. Pacific time. Classes will run through the middle of November. We do have a few weeks off due to some scheduling issues, but we are super excited to bring you guys this class. We hope that you go and check it out over on MK's website. The link is down below in my description box if you are interested in this. I would love to see you there, and I know MK would too. Thanks so much for listening. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.